This is Meteorologist Matthew East, and back in the saddle with a new edition of the Carolina weather video here for this Thursday, the 5th day of February. And boy, cold air is around a lot of the country this morning. If you look at the temperature map here during the early morning hours, again, the red line, that is the freezing line. So everyone, generally speaking, off to the north of that line, in most spots at least, some exceptions toward the Rockies, but most folks above that line, below freezing. So a solid 85 to 90% of the country at some point this morning will have dropped below freezing. And of course that extends down into Florida this morning as well. So that's a concern for the growing regions, as there are 20s penetrating pretty deeply down into the Sunshine State this morning. So probably some crop damage being done down that way. And the weather pattern overall is cold and quiet. You have an area of high pressure here back over the lower Mississippi Valley and the Tennessee Valley, and that is really a very broad area of high pressure that's now encompassing much of the eastern part of the country. That's going to give us some very quiet weather here for the next couple of days, and there you go. The radar extraordinarily quiet across the eastern two-thirds of the country this morning. Now, there is some rain in parts of the coastal sections of California, and that's the beginnings of the next storm system. That is still days away from impacting us. So let's talk about it. Today's still going to be very cold. I think at best mid-30s today. The Triad will probably struggle to even make it above freezing. I think around 33 there, probably 35, 36 degrees for the Charlotte area today. And certainly another very cold day, and still one more really cold night tonight with high pressure still very close by. I think many of us down into the mid to upper teens again tonight. So another cold one coming up to start off our Friday. But we begin a warming trend tomorrow. This high pressure moves off the coast of Jacksonville. We get into more of a southwesterly flow around that high beginning tomorrow. So we're looking at upper 40s to lower 50s for highs tomorrow. By Saturday, that southwesterly flow very well established. And we'll be up into the 60s for highs both weekend days. Looks like a lot of sunshine Saturday, maybe some clouds on Sunday at times, but still the weekend looks great with the highs well up into the 60s. And I think all of us will enjoy a nice break from all this cold weather, and we get to enjoy a nice weekend. Now on Sunday here, there is a cold front that swings through. Now we're not going to see any precip with that frontal passage here in the Piedmont, but what will happen probably is a brief wedging scenario sets up behind it early next work week. Now, not much precip with it, but it'll probably knock our highs back down into the 50s for highs on Monday, probably Tuesday as well. That's Monday. Here's Tuesday. And the GFS printing out a little chance of precip on Tuesday. I have not included that in my formal forecast package this morning. I just have a lot of cloud cover in the forecast Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday as well. Here's Wednesday, and that's when our next significant system begins to approach. Now the GFS is a little quicker than some of the other modeling with this midweek system, but it looks like late Wednesday or certainly Thursday we'll see a pretty good chance of rain as that next system swings through. And as I mentioned earlier in the week, I think this system here that swings through around the 12th, that's going to be the game changer. So after a milder pattern that's going to begin over the weekend and last into at least the first several days of next work week, I think this pattern, this storm system rather, will change us back into a different pattern once again. Let me show you the day 8 to 10 means, and I'm pretty excited about where this pattern is heading for the end of February. And when I say the end, I mean the second half of February, really from around Valentine's Day on, and maybe even into early March. Now, again, on the left page, that is the European. On the right, that's the GFS, and this is the day 8 to 10 day average of the 500 millibar pattern, or about 18,000 feet off the ground. And what we're looking at here, let's just look at the European chart here on the left. You have ridging here off the, including the west coast of North America up around Canada. That provides a feed of cold air into parts of the eastern United States. Underneath that, you have some troughing taking place off the west coast. That indicates a pretty decent flow of storm systems across the lower 48. You also have a 50-50 low pressure area or somewhere near that trying to form, and that would tend to keep storm systems from cutting up this way. It would tend to keep the storm track fairly suppressed. So it looks like a lot of the ingredients are there for possibly an active, maybe snowy pattern from the plains over into the mid-Atlantic region for the second half of this month. That's the way things are looking. I've been watching this for really several days and even a week or so now, but I'm really getting fairly confident that's how this pattern is going to unfold. Now, will it result in snow here? I don't know. It's just too soon to get any type of specifics, but I think the overall pattern, if you're looking at it from a week or so away, looks pretty good as we head into the second half of the month of February. And again, this pattern might extend into early March as well. So in the spots that have yet to see any significant snow, such as the foothills and the western Piedmont of North Carolina, hang on, we got a lot of winter left, so we may see how things unfold. It might be a favorable pattern here as we get into the second half of this month. All right, that is it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Bundle up, have a great day, and God bless.